Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today for this webinar on women's health. I'm Liesl van der Westhuizen, and I'm thrilled to be your host and guide through this enlightening session. But before we dive into our discussion, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of our attendees. Your presence here today reflects your commitment to prioritize your well-being, and we are honored to have you with us. As we all know, women play various roles in society as professionals, caregivers, partners, and so much more. Amidst these various responsibilities, it is critical that we take time for ourselves and care for ourselves. This is what this webinar today is all about, to equip you with insight and strategies to nurture your physical and emotional mental well-being. Our guest speaker today is an incredible advocate for women's health and self-care. So without any further ado, I'm excited to hand over to Samantha Muniela. Thank you, Samantha.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Liesl, and welcome to our conversation on women's health and how absolutely relevant as we are celebrating Women's Month. So happy Women's Month to all the amazing ladies out there. I hope that this month is filled with everything you've wished for and more. And it should be Women's Month, Women's Day, absolutely every day as we celebrate the wonderfulness that it is to be a woman, and that really being surrounded by the amazing women that we get to walk or meet along our paths. Today's conversation is really about understanding the factors affecting women in today's world. We'll look at heart disease in women, we'll look at breast cancer, we'll look at menopause, we'll look at sexual health, mental health, stress, how to cope with stress, and healthy lifestyle choices for women. So what is a woman? When you are sitting and thinking, what is a woman? How do you define yourself as a woman? We know that men tend to define themselves by work, their achievements, the amount of money that they have. But women tend to define themselves by family. And over the years, we've become accustomed to the idea that women are the primary nurturers. So in that regard, women tend to put family and their significant others before themselves. And this allows, unfortunately, healthy habits to fall by the wayside. You may often find yourself as a woman indulging in your favorite junk food, skipping meals, or even looking to alcohol or drugs for a means of escape. These are the issues that are affecting us today, where we women are not putting ourselves first. We're not realizing the importance of self-care because we are busy looking after everybody else. So I want you today, as we navigate through this conversation, to consider the following health issues facing women, and also start thinking about the lifestyle choices that you are making currently, and if there's a need for you to change them. It starts today. It starts with you, because you matter and you are important. Heart disease in women has become the number one killer and health risk that women face today. It has been estimated that almost 1 in 3 women will ultimately die of a stroke or a heart attack. After the onset of menopause, women begin to develop and increase their risk of heart disease at a pace that is equal to that of men. Yet we don't hear about heart disease in women. 38% of women who have suffered heart attacks pass away within a year, compared to just 25% of men. And about 63% of women who have died of coronary heart disease suffered no previous symptoms. And what's scary is that in many cases, early signs of heart attacks in women go unrecognized, both by women and by their doctors. It's just a stitch in my chest. I'm okay. Women do not get themselves checked out. And as a result, women suffer from heart disease that is unrecognized, that is misdiagnosed or not diagnosed at all. You can be exposed to an enhanced risk of heart disease if you are overweight or obese, if you smoke, if you're diabetic, if you have high cholesterol, suffer from high blood pressure, if you're exposed to stress over long periods of time that is unmanaged, and lastly, if you're physically inactive. Other risk factors are if you have a history of coronary disease, are menopausal, or you're currently taking the birth control pill. But remember, these are not the only factors that increase the risk of disease, heart disease in women. A woman is also at risk if she does not regularly schedule visits to her doctor. We need to be going to the doctor at least twice a year, having a full medical done. That includes your full blood count, your full platelets, understanding your liver functioning, your kidney functioning, your heart functioning, your lung functioning. You become at risk if you don't take care of your medical needs the way you care for others. And you still consider heart disease a man's disease. More and more women are affected by heart disease. The numbers are climbing, but we still consider it a man's disease. It's a man's illness. Women, you need to get checked out. If something does not feel right in your body, be it big or small, rather get it checked out and find that there's nothing wrong than to wait and find that there's something major that could have been prevented, could have been that could have been assisted, or you could have been assisted, that could have been remedied, that could have been reversed. We also know that women are at risk for cancer. Various types of cancer are of a particular concern to women, and this includes breast and cervical cancer. Breast cancer occurs when there's abnormal cells which grow out of control in one or both breasts. They invade the nearby tissues and they form a mass called a malignant tumor. The cancer can then spread to the lymph nodes and to other parts of the body. We know that women's greatest fear or worst fear is breast cancer. But experts have made great progress in treating cancer. And if it is found early, breast cancer can be often cured and is not always necessary to remove the breast. But it's important to start with understanding the symptoms of cancer, understanding the symptoms of breast cancer. It can start with a change in the way that the breast feels. And the most common symptom is a painless lump or a thickening in the breast or even in the underarm. A change in the way that the breast looks. The skin on the breast might dimple or it might start looking like an orange peel. And this may be a change in the size or a shape of the breast. Many people think that it's only women that get breast cancer, but we know that about 1 in every 100 cases of breast cancer is also men. So if you experience any lump in your breast, it's important to get it checked out. A lump, a pulled nipple, a dimpling, a drooping, a redness or a rash, or any skin changes, rather see your doctor and get it checked out so that you know what is going on. It's also important for you to also self-examine yourself. So with your fingertips close together, probe gently on each breast in one of these three patterns. So going up, down, going towards the nipples, so in that kind of pattern, or going around in circles, but feeling the whole breast, feeling all the different parts of your breast as you examine. You should be examining your breast every single month. It is important because that small change could be the difference between getting a tumor removed or having cancer spread throughout your body. Do it lying down when you're relaxing. Do it in the shower. Have your significant other probe around and feel around. But what's important is that you're continuously and consistently self-examining yourself. And you see a doctor right away if you notice any changes. It's important to be proactive. It is important for you to start being able to know your body and understand your body. And these self-examinations can supplement the clinical exams and the mammographs. The best time to do a self-examination is in the week after your menstruation, because that's when your breasts are full and you're absolutely able to feel around. As we get older, being a woman, we know that menopause is part of the health issues that women encounter, and this refers to a stage in a woman's life when her period ceases. It occurs when the ovaries stop producing the hormone estrogen as well as progesterone. Those are the pregnancy hormones. And we find that it occurs between the ages of 45 and 55 years of age. It can happen earlier, it can happen a bit later. These are just the average ages. Menopause symptoms are hot flushes, mood swings, tiredness, loss of libido, and irregular bleeding. All those are common. It's because your body's trying to adjust to this new hormonal deficit that you now have. So after the onset of menopause, we find that women begin to develop and increase their risk of heart disease, as I mentioned. So it's important to read up on menopause, to understand the different sexual health or the different hormones that you can take to really help you understand your body a bit better and not dismiss it as menopause. It's also important for you to be aware of how your history within your family, menopause, has treated them, has affected them, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Ask questions. It's so difficult to find information on menopause or to find supplements for women going through menopause because women are not vocal about it. There are supplements, there are fans that you can take, there are dietary changes that you can make those symptoms easier. But speak to your healthcare provider, speak to your doctor. No question is too small or too insignificant. It's so important that you ask and you be in the know-how so that you know how to manage your symptoms better. The same with sexual health. We often hear about the importance of physical health, the importance of mental health, the importance of spiritual health. But as women, feeling confident about your sexual health is also very important. Sexuality is a part of being a human. We want love, we want affection, we want intimacy. All those play a role in healthy relationships from childhood right through to our old age. So when we are vocal about our sexuality, understanding our sexual health, it allows for healthy relationships, both with ourselves, both with our partners, It also allows for planned pregnancies because we're speaking about our do's and don'ts. We're speaking about our wants and whatnots. We allow ourselves to be advocates for our own bodies and make choices that are right for us without being fearful of being victimized, sidelined, ridiculed. Sexual health also allows for the avoidance of disease because we're able to speak up for ourselves. You're able to choose contraceptives if you want to. You're able to choose different types of contraception. Knowing that you have the ability and the agency over your body is so important. It's so liberating. I find it so sad that in today's world, we don't see many female condoms around. It's all male condoms. Clinics, male condoms. Universities, male condoms. Workplaces, those that give out condoms, male condoms. On the display racks, in the shops, it's male condoms. What has happened to the femidom, which is the female condom? Why, as women, are we not advocating for the availability of female condoms so we start having that agency over our sexual health? Because all these different health issues that I have mentioned all feed into stress and our stress levels. It turns out that in general, women cope with stress differently than men. When women are stressed, they seek emotional support from family and friends. They also nurture those close to them. And researchers have coined a name for this behavior trend as tend and befriend. I'll speak to you, you speak to me. I'll look after you, you look after me. But it's so important as we navigate through life, as we navigate through the different changes, the different environments, that we learn how to manage our stress levels. Regardless of the source of stress and the physical or emotional symptoms that come with stress, we know that we as women manage stress very differently. In general, we find that people tend to choose activities like reading, listening to music, watching television to manage your stress levels over healthier behaviors such as reaching out to a mental health professional or even exercising. But we find that women are far more likely than men to say that they read as a way to manage their stress. And overall, they report more stress management activities that connect them with other people, like spending time with friends and family or going to church or religious services. Women are more likely than men to report that they eat as a way to manage their stress. Similarly, women also report that having eaten too much or eaten unhealthy foods because of stress puts them in a bad mental state, that they feel guilty for comfort eating. They feel guilty for turning to unhealthy food because they're managing their stress levels. We also find that as a way to manage stress, women exercise less than men as a stress management. 57% of women are likely to speak up when they're stressed, as opposed to 34% of men. 54% of women will turn to other people to speak through their dynamics, through their stresses. Sometimes that's all they do. They vent, but they actually don't take the action necessary to manage the stress and to deal with the stress. We find that only 4% of women are likely to exercise or play sports as a way to manage their stress. 47% of women will listen to music as opposed to 52% of men. But we're finding in today's world, more and more women are likely to say that they do nothing to manage their stress because they feel like they've got too much on their plate and they've just got to keep it moving. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself is the term that women use when relating to stress and understanding the need to manage their stress. It's actually really sad that we've kept ourselves so busy that we feel that we don't have time for self-care. And the thing about stress is that it creeps up on us. It's one of those things that plays an important factor in your health. But it creeps up on us. And by the time we start realizing and recognizing that we are stressed, oftentimes it's too late. Because when there's little stress, there's times when we are inactive, when we are laid back. As the stress increases, our fatigue level increases. But that's still in the good stress quadrant. It still propels us to achieve, to do something. I'm stressed because there's a deadline, therefore I will work late at night in order to ensure that I am meeting my target. And then there's this peak, the good stress peak, where you are performing at your absolute highest. But your stress levels at that point are too much. And because you want to continue performing at that level, you continue and you find yourself in the bad stress quadrant, where you are exhausted every day, where you're not motivated to get going, where you start feeling anxious or panicked or even angry at yourself for not achieving, for not performing at a level that you know yourself to perform at. And you find yourself reaching a level of burnout. And it's at that stage that you break down, that you need proactive measures or intentional action to remedy or to reduce or to manage your stress level. Yes, there are some stress types that are good, but there are many that aren't good. And it's important for you to start recognizing, once you reach that good stress peak, that you don't tip over to the bad stress, that you manage your stress levels so it stays in the good stress quadrant. You need to start learning what your triggers are, what your telltale signs are, so that you start being able to tell when you need to pull back and say, I need to manage my stress better. And it can be simple things like a healthy diet, a food choice. But in women, we find that women are far more likely than men to say that a lack of willpower has prevented them from changing their eating habits. And when we ask women, what do you need to change in order for your willpower to improve? Women say that they need more energy. They want to be less fatigued. They want more confidence in their ability to improve their willpower. 6 times as many women as men say that having more help in household chores will allow them to improve their willpower. And we know that this is not a new concept. But I also believe that you are what you eat. And we all have a routine that we follow for eating. So why not be intentional about what we are consuming? We know that we're not going to eat the same foods, but we can make healthier choices in our diets. Include more fruits, include more vegetables. We've all seen the food pyramid. How often or how likely are we to refer back to it so that we can feed our body the right nutrients that it needs in order to help us when we need it to manage our stress levels, to help when we're in that fight or flee situation. It's important to start making choices regarding your health and changing some of the choices that you make today because they're just as important as your physical health. And I'm telling you now that the food choices you are making today will affect your health in the future years. You will thank yourself for having eaten right and taking care of your body. Because as our metabolism slows down, as we become more frail, as we are exposed to more stress, it's the food choices that help us navigate through those issues and those difficulties. Another important lifestyle choice for women is fitness. Fitness gives your body the conditioning it needs, and it works hand in glove with a healthy diet. It also helps prevent and reduce many health issues such as osteoporosis. So it's important to get up and get moving. I know we say we don't have time because by being nurturers, you're constantly caring and tending to everybody else around you. But the average adult needs 90 minutes over a 7-day cycle of rigorous exercise. That's 30 minutes 3 times a week. Think about how much time you spend zombie scrolling, how much time you spend on TikTok, on Facebook, how much time you spend watching TV, or even daydreaming. Use that time to exercise. 30 minutes, 3 times a week can do so much for your mental health, for your physical health, so much for you as an individual. And some choices that you can start thinking about is Tai Chi, which is a martial art that consists of slow, gentle, rhythmic movements. It's good for calming the nerves. It's good for grounding you, for centering you. Pilates, that's for overall fitness. It improves your muscle balance, and it's better it's better body coordination. It teaches you to coordinate your body better. Go for a massage because that helps your muscles relax and helps to relieve that built up tension. All the world's problems that you have been carrying on your shoulders, treat yourself to. Take on some yoga, breathing, exercises, and meditation which assists in calming your body and your mind. Or practice relaxation or even meditation, because that will help you relieve the tension and reduce stress. You've got to learn self-awareness and acceptance because it helps you to identify who you truly are. Being in tune with your thoughts, allows you to hone in on your values, to understand your weaknesses and strengths, because that's what defines you. That's what makes you the phenomenal woman that you are. Low self-esteem and negative thinking are major impacts on your health, on your physical health, as well as your mental health. So it's important to invest in growth and self-actualization, because that is the asset that will help you find your purpose, find your why, find your direction, your end goal. Because ultimately, we want that sense of spirituality, that sense of inner peace, that sense of purpose as we navigate through life. It's also important to invest in your social activities. It's important for singles, it's important for families, because connecting with others brings more meaning into our lives. Of course, there are many ways to do this. Socialize with your friends, socialize with your neighbors, socialize with your family, people that have a common connection to you. But also socializing in your community is also important. Being a part of where you live gives you great satisfaction because it allows you to contribute to your community as well. Where you are today, do you know what's happening in your community? Do you know any drives that are happening? If someone were to come to you and say, I need a mental health professional, would you know within your community where to go, where to direct them? Where are the places of safety within your community? How many people within your community are doing the same thing that you are doing? Or have similar interests that you do, that you can turn to in your time of need? Gone are the days when we can go to our neighbors for a cup of sugar or a cup of salt, because we've closed ourselves off and we've isolated ourselves from that connection with the next person. So it's important to start activating that social side of you, because we can't just be meeting people at funerals, at baby showers or weddings. We've heard the saying that no man is a lone island, or in this case, no woman is a lone island. So find time as part of taking care of your health to connect socially and within your relationships. We all form part of different relationships in our lives. Relationships with our significant other, relationships with our friends, relationships with our family. And this is a big part of the things that are needed for a healthy lifestyle. Love is the one thing that we all need. And love, being loved, keeps us well. So keep your relationships active. Visit your friends, visit your family. Take time to write, take time to call. Because relationships are kept alive through communication. But also make new friends, because that establishes a connection with people that might have a similar lifestyle to yours or even a different lifestyle to yours. Having the ability to make friends is invaluable. Friends that can understand your lifestyle, friends that can be there to encourage you, to support you when you're experiencing challenges. Take time to be alone with yourself, to grow that relationship with yourself. Be alone with your significant other. Set up date nights. Make sure that you go out to a quiet dinner. Enjoy a weekend getaway. Time passes quickly. And you'll miss out on some of the best times if you don't make time for the people that you care about, for the people that are in your life. Because those people care about you. They want to support you. The ball is in your court to make that initial step. But while looking after your health, while looking after yourself, it's important to take some time out. Because even if you are a homebody or you enjoy staying at home, you also need to get away. Whether it's a vacation, whether it's a weekend away, or even a day away, your mind and your body needs to rest and sometimes be removed from your daily routine. I know that we're all a bit guilty of the, but what if they need me syndrome? But think about how time away leaves you feeling refreshed, leaves you feeling rejuvenated, and you come back with more zeal and more oomph to produce, to tend, to care for, to nurture. But you need some time away for you, for yourself. It could even be a couple of hours at your nearest nature reserve. Take a book and enjoy the scenery. Enjoy the outside world. You deserve it. You need to prioritize taking care of yourself. Some things that you can do on a day-to-day is a quick morning meditation. Check in with yourself. How am I doing? How am I coping? What thoughts are going through my mind? What is currently stressing me? Keep a journal. And when we keep a journal, write your thoughts. Because writing is therapeutic. In just a few minutes, you can write your thoughts, you can write your worries, you can write your gratitude, or whatever comes to mind. Keep your journal near you, next to your bed, and make a habit of writing a few paragraphs or even a few sentences each night before you go to sleep or each morning when you wake up. Make time to read a book or a magazine, because we all need to escape from this pressing concerns of reality once in a while. So on your lunch break, get away from your computer. Pick up your favorite book or even your favorite magazine and relax. Escape from the pressures of your daily lives, the pressures of work, the pressures of being a parent, the pressures of being a girlfriend, the pressures of being a wife. Call an old friend. Reconnect with someone that you haven't had time to talk to in a while. I know that busy lives get in the way. Our careers, our families, our responsibilities, they might make us forget those who are dear to us. Keep them in the background somewhere, where friends become a distant memory. And the only connection we have is through social media, because that's the only way we keep track of what our friends are doing, through their posts, through their pictures, through their status updates. But we very rarely pick up the phone and have a conversation or pick up ourselves and go visit them. It's important for your health to reconnect, to find connection. I've already mentioned this, but schedule time for yourself. So when we fill out our calendars for the day, a lot of the times we don't schedule in time for ourselves. We'll remember the conference calls, we'll remember the meetings, we'll remember the school pickups, we'll remember everything about everybody else except us. So next time you're thinking about your daily schedule, block some time for yourself. Schedule time in the morning for some exercise or meditation. Schedule your lunch so that you're actually taking lunch, because you would have prepared yourself a nice, healthy meal that you can eat. And schedule time in the evening to speak to a friend, to visit a friend, or whatever it is that you need to do. Unplug from technology. The first thing that people do when they wake up is reach out for their phone. And then when work begins, throughout the day, we're checking emails and replying to emails and answering phone calls. And before you know it, it's time to get up, it's time to go to home. And the whole day has been filled with electronics, buzzing, causing that stress, that anxiety continuously throughout your day. But now it's important to schedule time away from electronics, to unplug, so that you can give yourself time to reflect on the day that you've had, to reflect on the day that you're going to have, to reflect on some of the changes that you would like to make for yourself. Take a pre-made meal to eat for lunch, because I know we don't spend enough time taking care of our bodies, and a lot of the times lunch is snacks or takeaways or canteen. Pack your lunch the night before. That way you can ensure that it's filled with nutritious food that is going to nurture your body. And again, because you would have scheduled in lunchtime in your daily routine, you take your lunch away from your desk. Get some fresh air, go outside if it's possible, and relax. Get enough sleep. Women are not sleeping these days. In fact, the average woman sleeps between 4 to 5 hours. And because a lot of women are working professional lives, it's hectic for them. But when we're not sleeping adequately, and the average adult needs about 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night, remember that you're not giving your bodies the rest that it needs to fully function. And the more you carry on like this, the quicker you'll find yourself running on empty. Remember, sleep is not only good for the body, but it's also good for the mind. A well-rested body and mind accomplishes great things. And where possible, make the weekend about you and not work. In today's world, we are taking work home with us, and we never really get a day off, because once we have a gap in our day, it's all about trying to stay ahead of the curve. But it's important to ensure that you are making time to do the things that you enjoy. Spending time with your loved ones. Spending time with yourself. Limiting the distractions of work. Participating in hobbies and activities that you enjoy. Perhaps this time is the time that you can actually start focusing on your physical health and your fitness routine. And lastly, remind yourself that you are fabulous. Don't let deadlines or a demanding job get you down. Remind yourself of all the things that you have accomplished, and don't get caught up in problems and failures. You are fabulous. You are amazing. And some things do not define you as an individual, because you are fabulous. You're contributing significantly to your peace of mind, to your well-being. You are contributing to making sure that you are okay. Those that have been on an airplane have often heard the air hostess saying that when the oxygen mask falls in case of emergency, you put the oxygen mask on yourself first, before assisting anyone else, be it your spouse, be it your mother, be it your child, be it your friend. You need to be okay first before you can assist the next person. So it starts with patting yourself on the back and saying, you've got this. You've been getting this. You are wonderfully made. You are fabulous. You're gorgeous. Be kind to yourself first so that you can start exuding that amazingness or awesomeness to the next person or to the people that you interact with. And it starts by having balance. Think about your hobbies, your interests, and start investing in those. Start planning for your future and start engaging in projects that are meaningful for you. Find ways that you can do your job better, more effectively. Learn and grow professionally. Take care of yourself. Exercise. Take up a sport. Find your meaning, the philosophical concerns of your life. Be it religious, be it spiritual, but find your why. Why do you do the things that you do? Connect with friends and colleagues, re-establish those family relationships, and start taking care of your community activities. Remember, a strong woman is one who feels deeply, who loves fiercely. Her tears flow just as abundantly as her laughter. A strong woman is both soft and powerful. She's both practical and spiritual. A strong woman, in her essence, is a gift to the world. You are a gift. You are fabulous. You are fierce. You are powerful. You are soft. You are spiritual. So it's important to start taking care of you today because the world needs you. Those that have Ask Nelson will know that through Ask Nelson, you've got access to counseling services, telephonic counseling, virtual face-to-face counseling, off-site face-to-face counseling, children and teenage support. Ask Nelson also offers coaching, leadership coaching, life coaching, parenting coaching, career guidance. You have individual as well as workplace trauma intervention. Ask Nelson provides you with financial advice, legal advice, and all of this is confidential. Confidentiality is never breached through the Ask Nelson lifestyle program unless there is risk to self, risk to other people, risk to the health and safety of a child, or risk regarding damaging a property. And even with this risk, the information will not be released without your consent, and it's provided at reasonable, provided it is reasonable in the circumstances. So this fantastic service is available to those that have the Ask Nelson services, and you can access or you can contact Ask Nelson by calling 0861 635 766. So if you were to type it out, it's 0861 Nelson, and that's for immediate assistance or immediate access. You can also send a please call me to 072 620 5699. You can email asknelson@kaelo.co.za or SMS 40640. You can also dial on your keypad *134 *928#. Visit www.kaelo.co.za to understand more about the services that Kaelo offers, some of the programs that Kaelo offers, and also to get information about the amazing service such as Ask Nelson. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Hi, Sam. I don't see anything in the chat box on my end.
Okay, can we get exercise suggestions that are feasible in a township setting? So in township settings, there are a lot of parks that have been erected by the city that one can also go to exercise, but also to get involved, walking around the neighborhood, really meditating in the morning, just really, you can go into YouTube and you can do your yoga classes internally at home. And those are all very accommodating. I think in today's world, we've got so much information that is so available to us at the drop of a finger, at the touch of a keypad. And most people have smartphones, so we can definitely access meditation, guided meditation on our phones. We can access guided yoga on our phones, exercise routines that we can do on the phones. So we can basically have access to all those exercises that I mentioned on the phone by just typing and looking and wonder and really seeing what is out there and what is relevant for you. I hope that assists you, Roko. Okay. Fantastic. Any other questions or comments? Thank you for all your kind words. Please keep the feedback coming. We really do appreciate it. Somebody mentioning that under taking care of yourself, listening to music is also very beneficial. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Somebody said to me the other day that when you're in a good mood, music sounds differently. And when you're sad or overwhelmed, the lyrics start making sense. Okay, another question. How do we balance the use of contraceptions and the fact that it's one of the factors that causes heart attacks? So there's different risk factors and they differ from person to person. So it's also very important to realize and recognize what your risk factors are. So it's important to have a conversation with your medical health professional because sometimes we go to clinics and we get contraception because it's what we know. It's what society expects of us. But we don't understand our individual risk factors. So that's why I mentioned that it's so important to get a full medical at least twice a year so that you can understand how your body is changing and what changes you need to make. And also to have the conversation with your medical health practitioner regarding your risk factors for heart attacks. Because there are different types of contraception with different dosages that allow you to then be at a specific spectrum if you are at a risk factor. There's also non-hormonal contraceptions that you can take as well. But it's important to start having those conversations because not all contraceptions are the same. So what works for me might not work for you. And that's why contraceptions treat us differently as women. So have those conversations, discuss with your medical health practitioner so that you can get what's right for you and you're not putting yourself at risk for heart attacks. Okay. Okay, I don't see any other questions, Liesel. There are the numbers there for Ask Nelson on the top of the chat, just above the chat box. So you can definitely give us a call so that you can find out about the service. You can find out about what Ask Nelson can provide for you, what Ask Nelson can do for you, and that you can really start engaging with Ask Nelson because it's a fantastic service and you'll get access to more webinars such as this. Another question, is it true that taking hormone tablets can lead to cancer? There's a recent study that has linked taking hormonal contraception or hormone tablets to cancer. But again, because people are different, we are predisposed differently. It's one of those questions that one needs to address with their medical health practitioner. I'm not a medical health practitioner, so I'm not going to give any medical advice or any medical information, but it is important to have those conversations. And as women, we need to speak up. This is your body. This is your health. This is your tomorrow that you are worried about. So it's really important to start having those engaging conversations so that there's more ready information out there. You know, when I looked on information on menopause, I literally had to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. But if you were to search prostate cancer, for example, it's there and it's article after article after article. So I think it's important for us as women to start taking the conversation and being intentional and loud about it, because our health matters and our health is affected, and that's what we need to start taking a stance from it. Is there a repeat of this webinar? Liesl, is there a repeat of this webinar?
So all these webinars, it's recorded and it will be made available on the Kyla website within the next week or so. Okay, so kindly visit the Kyla website where you can download the recording as well as the toolkit that will go with this webinar.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, Liesl, over to you.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for this very insightful and empowered presentation webinar. I think I want to close off with leaving you with a quote that says that mental and physical health is not a destination, but a process. It's about how you drive, not where you're going. And if I can sum that up, for me, it means that we have to actively look at things that we can apply, positive psychology that we can apply in the daily, in the way that we live our daily lives, so that we can build and maintain positive physical wellness as well as mental health. So thank you once again for joining us. Look after yourself and take care.
Bye-bye.